the coordinator and Imam at Abuja Islamic Education Trust here in Abuja, in case you want to reach out to the office, number 38 Panama Street. We are gathered here today to discuss about something very important, something that has to do with the unity of the country and its citizens. We are here to share ideas. The expectation is we interact. It's going to be more interactive session than just a lecture. Reducing interreligious tension and promotion of social cohesion in Nigeria. At whatever level we may find ourselves, we have a contribution to give to our own community, to our own society, and by large, to our own country. Looking at the Nigeria setting, it is a country that is multi-religious, multi-ethnic, and no particular religion or ethnicity can beat chest and claim the ownership, sole ownership of the country. We are sharing the country, we are sharing the territory. That is why in the national anthem, there is one important statement we always mention. At the tail end, peace and unity. That's what we are aspiring for. And here today, we have Nigeria represented in this hall. Is that true? Looking at the major religions we have. What are the major religions we have in Nigeria? Of course, Islam and Christianity. And we have different tribes. I have a tribe I represent. By mere looking at me, what tribe do I belong to? Subhanallah. I'm a Nigerian. And Yobani knew. But I'm Bahaushi. Now there is another problem per se that we do experience sometimes, or the laymen perceived. Once the word interfaith is mentioned, some people feel maybe too heterogeneous, so to use the word, two heterogeneous religion coming together and agreeing to amalgamate to become one. And that is why some people feel the word interfaith is irritating and they don't want it. We do face challenges from our end. And in one of the gatherings, I also heard from one of the Christian participants that they also do face some challenges, those of them that participate in interfaith dialogue like this. But for us to do justice, we said interfaith dialogue. Mostly that word dialogue is a vital ingredient that needs to be added so that we have the balance. In our presentation, especially the introductory aspect, we'll come to understand today that when we said interfaith, it's not all about, coming to form a miscible, mixture. We can, of course, be from different backgrounds, respect one another, and agree to move or to unite and work in order to see our country or our society progressing. I will share some stories with you, after which I will love if we can split ourselves into groups and fetch out some lessons from the stories. The first one, apologies first, we don't have projector to project it. It's a story about giraffe and elephant. The giraffe and the elephant. Giraffe, we all know how giraffe looks like, and the elephant. What do they share in common? Giraffe and the elephant, do they share anything in common? Yes. What is that? They are all animals. They have one general name, animals. And maybe they are all mammals. I may be correct, right? And What do they share? What differentiates between elephant and giraffe? What are those features that we can easily identify to differentiate the two? Uh-huh. The elephant is large, very thick, like me. Uh-huh. While the giraffe is not is thin and it has an elongated neck. Yeah, both of them they depend on grasses to feed, right? They feed on grasses. So the elephant and the giraffe can easily graze on the grasses. So they live and reside in one community, but after a while, the grass is almost, finished on the ground. As such, you see, who is now at advantage to have a daily meal? The giraffe, of course. So it has an elongated neck. It can easily stretch the neck and feed from the branches of the tree. While elephants feel, so my own neck is not that long, therefore I have to use my own power. So it begins to push the trees to fall down and it feed on the leaves. And now the giraffe said, this is a problem because our community, the society we live in, is now prone to deforestation. Maybe after a short period of time, all these trees will finish, and myself and the elephant will be starved. So they now said, okay, how do we resolve this issue? Disputes begin to escalate between the communities. So now they want to think on how exactly they will come on a roundtable meeting, discuss it, and find a way out, a solution. They said, okay, elephant granted the giraffes an invitation to come to its house. Upon reaching there, the house is not built in such a way that it can accommodate the structure of the giraffe because of the long neck. So you see, the environment is not okay and friendly for the discussion. So it said, okay, now let's use the giraffe's house. Upon going there, the same thing. The entrance itself is not allowing the elephant to get its way in. So now they said, okay, since we are diverse in the nature of our creation, now let's look at a common ground where we can sit, share ideas, which is not my home and not yours. So now they begin to dialogue to discuss on how they can tackle this. Maybe giraffe will be helping elephant with some grasses down so that they will not together cause a problem to the community. So in this story, there is no need for the elephant to metamorphose and become like giraffe before they could understand each other. The same thing, the giraffe don't have to go on some it doesn't have to go on some processes to reduce its neck in order to have a mutual understanding with the elephant. So looking at this, what this is trying to tell us is in interfaith dialogue, it is not saying that party A will have to compromise everything that it possesses in order to be on the same page with party B. I maintain my, qualities, my integrity, what I feel are good, but we have a common thing that we will work towards. So we respect individuality and maintain our own, nature. We unite, unity through diversity. So I think this is one of the aspects or the stories used in order to see or to send a clear message of what interfaith is all about. Am I communicating? The second story, the sound of the forest. That is the second story. There is an old man, a king for that matter. He has a prince who he wants to inherit him after maybe his death or after reaching to some certain level of age. Now he said, okay, I want you to inherit me, but you know leadership requires some certain, qualities, some certain level of knowledge. Therefore he said, I will send you to an old wise man. You go there and learn from him. So after sending him, he said, this old man was telling the prince, okay, I will give you an assignment, which after the assignment you come back and share the outcome with me. He said, okay, sir. He said, you are going to trek from here to the forest. Spend some days there. Listen attentively with rapt attention to the sounds you will hear there in the forest. Come back and share them with me. So he feel, I'm here to waste my time then, just to go in the forest, listen to sounds and come back to share with you. He said, okay, but let me abide by it. He went inside the forest, he sat down attentively, spent reasonable days, and he came back. Yes, I heard the frogs croaking, I heard the birds singing, I heard this, I heard that, all the normal, sounds that everyone can hear. He said, no, those are not my target. You are going back for the second time. You are going back to spend so days there again. And he felt not happy. But he is compelled to go there. He still go back there. He said, okay. But after a while, one morning he was seated under a tree, under a shade, and he felt, let me listen and hear what this old man wants me to hear. After listening attentively, he begins to hear the sound of, the flowers opening. You know how a flower opens. You can't perceive the sound except if you attentively listen to it. Then he had the sound of flowers opening, the leaves drinking its morning dew. Then he said, okay, this must be the sound the master wants me to hear. And he go back to the master and said, okay, when I listened attentively, I could hear the sound of flowers opening, I could hear this. In fact, I heard the unheard. He said, okay, now this is the target, to hear the unheard. I hope the story is flowing. So now, he said, for you to be a leader, you need to listen attentively. You need to listen beyond what the ordinary person can listen to. There are many things, if you become a leader, you will divinely be provided with wisdom to understand or to listen to even what people are not seeing. By just looking at somebody, you read the story from his forehead and you comprehend something. That is the second story. The third one, perspectives from the mountain. Perspectives from the mountain. We all know mountain. The same thing, a young man was asked to go and meet a wise man, a wise old man, to learn from him. He said, okay, we are now going to the mountain, and upon reaching there, at different strata, we will keep observing whatever we are observing, not everything. When you come down, then you share the story with me. While they were at the zenith, at the topmost of the mountain, he asked him, look, what do you see? And at that level, at that far level, upper strata, they could see the distant mountain, the distant rivers, and many things from far distance. As they come to the lower strata of, that is the middle strata of the mountain. What they notice is the trunks of the trees. Now they could not see even the upper part of the trees, that is the branches, but they could see the trunk and many other things that are, within the strata. As they go deeper, they go down the ground level. He said, now what can you see? They could see houses, they could see even tiny organisms that they would not be opportune to have seen from far distance. He said, okay, what this is telling you, while you are at a far distance, there are things you be seeing from a far distance, giving them several translations. Now, for somebody who is not, let me relate it, but there are a lot of things we will fetch from this. He said, for example, now, if you are a Muslim and you don't have anybody you are so close to who is a Christian, you'll be having your own different perspective of who that person is. The same thing if a Christian is far away from the Muslims, you don't have any avenue where he mingles, he relates. Definitely he would be using maybe what he had about Muslims or what his heart coined about them. By the time you are going closer into the society, a modernized society, relating with one another, that is when we begin to understand that yes, there could be good people from the Muslims, the same thing from the Christians, and there could be bad elements from the Muslims, just like you can find them from the Christians. You begin to see perspective. If, for example, maybe Mr. Joseph, please, if you could help me stand up. Those of you from the other side, what can you see from Mr. Joseph's structure?
See his ear?
Yes. One of his ear. Does that mean Mr. Joseph is having one ear? You see, you are seeing it from your own angle. The same thing I'm seeing him from this angle. I said left hand, left ear, and what have you. You could not see the 360 of Mr. Joseph. So it depends on the, thank you, the perspectivity. The perspective at or the angle you belong to, that you look at something. That's what gives you the signal. So this also is trying to tell us that don't jump into conclusion of anything without triangulating. You need to have a required knowledge before you finalize or you summarize everything. So I will never allow my own the nature of the cat to stop me from my own nature, just like I will never allow your own nature of I don't care attitude to stop me from my nature. I will do what I think is right. I hope this story sinks. So I will also want to hear the lessons from you. And finally, how many stories so far? This angle. Maybe let me merge you with the shuyukh here, with the gentleman here. What is the second story we are having? Sound of the forest. So the three key lessons from the sounds of the forest. Maybe you can take two and allow the women to share one. The gentleman over there. The next story is what? So that is yours. Perspective from the mountain. How do we relate it with interfaith dialogue? And the table over there, the farmer and the snake, right? The farmer and the snake. And the last one, scratched by the cat. So we want three key lessons from all these stories in relation to what we are here for. And after this, we have one quick discussion, and I round up.
Thank you very much. I am representing Group 1.
One house, please. One house.
I'm representing Group 1, and my name is Godfrey Enekela. From our story of the elephant and giraffe, we deduce that there are three examples we should learn to promote for our social cohesion between the interfaith, or between our relationship. Let me generalize it, between us humans. And we say, one, we find out that there is peaceful coexistence. There should be peaceful coexistence between them. How should this be attained? If you permit me to go further, peaceful coexistence here should stand as, if the elephant could not, if the elephant will have to fell down trees to access his food, and the giraffe will have to bring down his food because of this nature of his height, it therefore means that the giraffe have advantage over the destructive nature of the elephant. Therefore, the giraffe will have to share his food with the elephant. And then secondly, we also saw understanding their differences and strength. Now we saw that the difference and their strength plays here now. They are both powerful, but the elephant is more powerful. So in terms of threat, we see the elephant coming to protect the giraffe. So this is where we deduce also that understanding their differences and strength should play. And then thirdly, values for each other. Now when we understand the value for each other, in our quest for our religion, in our quest for our strength, in our quest for our diversity, it means we'll have to respect each other mutually in everything we do and in all the ramifications of life. So this is what we deduced, or we got from our story. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's it.
From the story deduced the sound of the forest. This clearly makes us understand that for you to be able to understand people, you need to go a little bit closer instead of drawing conclusion from what you hear. Like, for example, what the media portrays about religion is totally different from what we get. We see people condemn, for example, I'm a Muslim, let me just speak from my own perspective at the moment. We see people condemn Islam in the media, but we can still find some like non-Muslims who testify that they have lived with some Muslims and have observed that these people are nothing like what the media portrays. When he was sent to the forest to listen, he surely heard the sound that was loud, that of the animals. But that distracted him from paying attention to the deeper voice of the plants. Doesn't mean they didn't have a voice to speak, but it was his fault for not paying much attention. So whatever it is the society has to say about a particular religion, that religion or the religion in questions or the people practicing that religion definitely have something to say about themselves. So when we pay much attention, it will help us understand each other and it will create more harmony instead of just paying attention to what the media portrays. Thank you very much.
All right. I just want to add a little on what he said. From our discussion here, I also want to talk about listening and taking advice. You know, the young man at first was wondering what to go do in the forest. That's it, the young man, I'm talking about listening and taking advice. You know, there is this adage that said, what an old man sees while sitting, a young man cannot see even for the tallest of the trees. Now, the old man sees that there's something to get from the forest, but this young man was a little bit adamant. But while he was being adamant, he also gave a second thought to still go to the forest. Now, in our thinking or in our doings, anything we want to do pertaining religion, we should always give it a second thought. Otherwise, we may go the wrong way. It was when this young man gave a second thought that he went to the forest and was able to listen to the sound of the plants, the flowers. Let me not go too long. Thank you.
Bismillah. Patience. As a leader, over your followers, whether they are Christians or Muslims or both, you have to be patient with them and be tolerant.
The perspective of the mountain, we have 3 lessons we deduced from that story. If you listen to the story, it talks about the stratas, that's the layers of the mountain, and the perception, the views from these different stratas. And so one of the things One of the lessons we deduced from that story is that we can't judge the people of the other faith based on the distance perception of them. When you have not known a man closely, it is wrong to draw conclusion on the life on the man. So you can't judge people of other faith based on the distance perception of them, not by what people say in the media or what they say to you. You don't get a real understanding of a person by what others say to you about the person, but by what you learn or get to know from the person. Number two lesson is that there is a need to getting closer to the fellow of other faith in order to understand ourselves better. There is a need, because if we stay in distance, then the understanding will not be there. We only walk by what we heard or what people say. So there is a very pertinent need that we get closer and relate closer with each other. And then the third lesson we learned from this story is that relating with fellows of other faiths gives us a better understanding that it is not just only bad persons that faiths produce, that there are also bad and good persons, just as in our own faith we have the good and the bad. So it is relating with them that gives us that understanding. So there is a need for us to relate with each other in order to understand ourselves better. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. From the perspective of the farmer and the snake, we're able to outline 3 points. And the first one we were able to apply was tolerance. So the reason for the tolerance is because everybody have different belief and different faiths. So your what you believe is not what other people may believe. And so that will help you to avoid fighting and avoid problems instead of going to fight. Then the second one was me thinking about the consequences of revenging. It's better for us to stay peaceful. Then we talk to ourselves, we know where to start from instead of going to fight. Then the third one was having a peaceful talk like this, where everybody will come together, we talk, something like this happens, something like that happens. It's not good, so we know how to come together and speak our minds out. That's what we're able to do. Thank you.
From the story of the last story that he explained, the story of the cat and the man. What he's trying to tell us is that the first significance here is that what we need to know in this life, that one should be helpful to another, to one another, should be helpful. It matters a lot. Even in our daily life now, these are day-to-day activities. If one is not helpful today, tomorrow you don't know what to face in the future. There's one saying that they say that the words, what goes around comes around. What you do today, in the time that the nature, that time that your nature is at your own nature to help the person, you are the only person now to help the person when he's in need, and you shied away to that nature, you ignore that nature because that was your calling, you ignore it. Then another thing is going to the nature. When the nature will now turn against you and we go in the future, then the nature will now shy away to you. That is when you will now notice the mistake. Like in this story where he said that the cat and the man, he was patient. The man was patient. Even at the dying point, the way he was injured, he injured him the first time and the second time, to the extent that his friend, because in this life you have pressure from others, you have people who talk about you, they will say, give up in this thing that you are going to do. You are trying to achieve something, but what you will tell, you'll be hearing, give up. But you have to be strong in this life. We have to be strong, so that in order to achieve something, we have to be strong and we focus. If you are not focused in that thing that you are going to achieve, you will not get it. The man there in that story, he was focused in achieving that thing. He was very focused. And again, he was patient. You see, you have to endure the pains there until he achieved what he wants to achieve. And again, that is you should never give up. Never ever give up. Because maybe your next step, the next step that you have to take might be the time that you are going to earn what you want to earn. That thing that you have been waiting to earn, you have been pushing hard to earn. Maybe that next step might be the time for your progress. But maybe by then, when you are giving up, you will not get what you want to get. So one significant I get here is that we should never give up in anything that we are doing. We should never give up in life, and we can make it. We should always have this focus that we can make it. We can make it in life.
Thank you very much.
For a battle for existence, survivor instinct here. You saw that the elephant was destroying everything. And so there's a need to sustain whatever they have so that they can survive. So in our quest for our faith, if we die if we kill each other, what will be the value for the life itself? What will be the life for what we stands to represent? And so this is teaching us a very big lesson, that we must stand for each other, no matter what. Killing each other, getting it all syndrome. Everything must be for me. My brother must not get what I desire or what he deserves. Let me get it for myself. In that way, how can you enjoy it when you have we see the big. I've often tell people, I said, if you are not of value to me, then you don't deserve my respect. If you are not of value to me in any way, then there is nothing I should be doing around you. So in this life, if I cannot get your help, if I cannot get your peace or your protection, then I shouldn't come around you. So we must come around each other, protect each other, so that we can coexist together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
They will have to be criticizing you. You will receive criticisms from all angles. You will feel discouraged by, friends that surround you. Oga, are you the only Nigerian? Are you the only person? There are many there. This thing is not affecting you directly. I beg, forget about this. Things like this, discouragement from all angles. So you don't have to listen to that so long as you know what you are doing is right. I started the presentation by saying, from both religions, there are a lot of criticisms you face, even when you are trying to correct something which is more intra-religious, not to even talk of inter-religious. So long as you know I have factual evidences, what I'm doing is the best, is the right thing to do. You don't have to listen to anybody that is influencing you negatively to, surrender on whatever you are doing. Relating this all, the first one, the giraffe and the elephant, let's go with this. It is not about, party A compromising its own, its own value, thank you, interest, in order to impress the other one. We agree that yes, we are diverse. You are, going or moving in accordance with what you believe. But we have a common enemy that we have to join hand to fight. We have a common interest. We have a common value that we need to protect. So these things, if we relate them, we will see that. But a question now, this is open for everybody, not in segmented groups. This interfaith dialogue, I believe this is not the first time you are attending a program of this kind. But if you are to rate it by percentage, do you think this type of gathering is impactful, is yielding any positive outcome, is healing some wounds? Do you think it, if yes, maybe you share some reasons with us?
Standing on the already established protocols, My name is Muhammad Musa Sheikh. I think the whole phase of the interfaith is a very good one, and I must have to affirm that it has a positive impact to the development of our nations. The essence of the interfaith is to have a positive, constructive conversations that is going to bring the both different faiths, that is the Muslims and as well as the Christian, tends to understand one another better, and then a kind of dialogue with one another, thanks to a kind of share ideas of how their religion is being governed. It's a process whereby you see if one is having another deficit, or maybe let's call it a bad image on the said religion, is going to wipe it away. I believe there are scenarios that happens where sometimes they tag Muslim as a kind of terrorist, right? But now having an interface and letting an individual understand that the Muslims are not terrorists, this is what they are doing. The people who are set terrorists are there separately. They are just a set of people that we are trying to ignite the peace of the nations. But if we said other religions are terrorists, it's a lie. We need to understand the phase that there is no religion, being either the Bible or the Quran, that encourage us to admonish terrorists. So that understanding will go far a long way, and we will be able to come into one page and once and for all. Subhanallah.
This is exactly the message we are giving to our own client at the grassroots level.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. My name is Omar bin Laden. What I want to say here is that definitely interfaith dialogue, it helps a lot. But my own here, let me use this medium to give us an advice. It should not be limited to only elder people or people that are matured. The best thing to start is from the grass level, and from the primary, secondary. If you can go to that level, it will help a lot. The reason why I say that, most of the time, is from there that most of the people, they used to corrupt the mind of some of those children. And how can we improve this? Is by introducing seerah of our religion, how Prophet Muhammad SAW lived with other people. By teaching our children, it will help a lot. And also by teaching small children how Jesus relates with other people that were chasing him away. If we introduce this, I think it will help a lot, inshallah.
Thank you so much, sir. I almost said let me not talk because of my brother here, but I will not raise up my hand to speak, and then I will say someone has spoken my mind. The fact that this program is targeted at youth is very important, and to an extent, I think it's already achievable. But the number of youth I've seen is disproportionate. That's my concern. And I don't know how often this program comes up. I would have said it is irregular. If it is irregular, it will not go to that extent, that length. Our minds have already been corrupted for a while. And anytime issue of interfaith or religious violence comes up, it is targeted at the youth, because the youth are the strength of the nation, and the youth are the ones to be used anytime, anywhere. So the program targeted at the youth is very important, and I want to advise that the program should be often and more youth should be incorporated. Thank you, sir.
You ask a very vital question. Why is it that there's a low output in such from such a gathering? The reason is because You can't drop a cup of water in an ocean and feel the effect. That is one major thing. Now, just like he mentioned, we have thousands of youths or millions of youths in this country, and then a few persons are gathered and this is passed. Well, the impact will not be felt so much immediately. It has to start small, because the number of persons who are carrying out this, whose mindset have been reset to start this positive change, are few. And so it will have less impact on the general public. So, but if it's a continuous program and different rates of persons are reached, it will give more effect to the result. So, but if it is reduced to an enclave of persons, you won't get that positive, that major result as you're expecting. Thank you.
All protocols duly observed. My name is Meyaki Solomon Shenini. My name is Meyaki Solomon Shenini. I really want to say this program is a very, very vital program, and I believe and I'm happy that I attend this program today, and I'm very, very delighted. And I know this program is trying to raise up armies that will help in disseminating unity across Nigeria. You know, as a youth are the leaders of tomorrow, and if we tarnish the image of the country through religion, we will not get to the promised land we want to get to. I just want to say this thing briefly. I think there was a time while I was in school, National State University, Kefi, I had a friend who's Musa Bala, is a Muslim. He was my good friend while I was a Christian. So something happened while we were in the hostel. Someone called me an Aryan. So I got upset. So I went to that my Muslim friend and said, what's the meaning of Arna? So the person who called me Arna says, yeah, it's not an insult. So I went to him. So the guy told me that when they say Arna, it's an insult. It means you don't have religion. And I said, but I'm a Christian. Why should this guy call me an Arna? So I said, I went back to him because I was very furious. But there was something I remember. I said, if I will gear up this to some certain extent, it will bring problem. And if this problem will occur, myself and my friends will not be related. So what I did was, I went back to the guy, that my Muslim friend. I met him. I said, at least let's settle any differences we have. Because if we keep up this malice, the nation we are into will not get to the final destination. So when I came and I saw this, I was very, very delighted, and I'm very, very good. I will be a very faithful ambassador in preaching interfaith action program. Thank you.
I was once on my bike somewhere in Sokoto State without plate number for getting to 5 years using the bike without plate number, only for me to be stopped by a road safety officer. And he asked me, Ogawa, is your plate number? I said, I don't have it. Then he off my bike and seized it. He was so committed to filling the receipt. Instantly, I saw some people passing with their own bike without plate number. I began to challenge him. I said, Oga, but look at other people here passing without plate number, the same offense you arrested me for. But that guy is very smart and sharp. He silenced me. Lucky enough, I was holding one container. I bought masa. You know masa, ko? A food, so to say. So he asked me, Oga, he was very calm in the way he asked the question. He said, what is here in this container? I said, food. I said, if you go to your house, how do you consume this food? I said, He said, is it at once? Then I was a comrade. Then I said, I summoned courage and said, No, of course, Loma after Loma. You know, just just to just to show you that meaning, one after the other, gradually. He said that is how we do it. Today we arrest you, tomorrow we arrest another person. The next thing, before you know, it is drastically reduced or it is finally evacuated. So the same thing, the little number we are having focused here today, maybe if we all agree to carry this message to the grassroots, tomorrow you at your own locality, at your own organizational level, you organize the same thing for step down. Before you know, the impact will be general. So please, let's see how we can do this. And I agree with all of you that are emphasizing on the grassroots. Of course, there are instances where you can engage the upcoming generation into, interfaith relationship, peaceful coexistence, without even following through a formal way, without them knowing. That is by, taking them to school that is a mixed, where you have different cultures, different religion, they associate with one another. I always, when I participate in this program, I remember a friend of mine who is now a pastor. We've called him Pastor Kola right from when we were in JSS 1. That he happens to be my good friend that we share the same seat with. He always come to the school with one that small Bible, that portable one. Yeah. So he normally used to share a lot of teachings from the Bible with me. And then I don't even know that I am doing anything interfaith. I don't even know the term. But I give him a listening ear. He always requests from me, let me also share with you the good things about, my religion. This very person, Pastor Kola, used to visit my house. And up to this moment that I speak, I'm in a good connection with this person. We respect each other. When we have anything that he thinks is good for me to participate, he do invite me, and I also do the same. So we can at least relate, maintain our own lane, but we can still, join hands to do what will bring about development and progress. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much for all the contributions.